We start this series off at the hospital with seeing our main character, Sakuto, tell someone named Kana that he promises to get medicine for her. Kana just smiles and says that she will be waiting for him and not to overwork himself. We then see the text, and it says that 150 years ago, dungeons suddenly started appearing around the world. It is now the era where humanity, endowed with supernatural abilities called jobs, seeks the treasures that lie in the deepest depths of these dungeons, and explorers risk their lives venturing into the dungeons, seeking the pinnacle of treasures, a divine medicine that heals anything. We then get right into one of those dungeons, where we see a swordsman attacking an ogre-looking creature while saying that this is the end for him. The ogre tries to fight back, but the swordsman tells him that he is too slow, and he cuts him in half. The swordsman then turns back and says that it's like he thought, and that their skills are enough even when up against high-level monsters, and that he is leaving the body up to none other than our main character, Sakuto, who is affiliated with the Bravers, and his job is a dismantler. The swordsman and the others walk out of some sort of passage and talk about quickly grabbing the treasure and heading back home, as they also have to celebrate clearing this high-level dungeon. Sakuto then dismantles the ogre, and he tells the swordsman that he is done. The swordsman says that they got an item box, which is insanely rare. He then compliments Sakuto before asking if he can have a word with him. Sakuto asks if they can't talk when they come back, but he says that he wanted to tell him now. So he puts his hand on Sakuto's shoulder and coldly tells him to leave their party and to end their relationship here. We then learn that he is called Toshiko. Sakuto is stunned, and everyone else behind Toshiko, Ryota, Keiko, and Mizuho, are all hanging their heads. Mizuho comes forward and says that there is no use in discussing it here, but Toshiko says that it's the same whether they discuss it before they get back or not. Anyway, Toshiko then tells Sakuto that the four of them decided that before. Sakuto gets mad as he hears this and asks them why, but Toshihiko just tells him to listen and that the four of them were blessed with exceptional jobs, but Sakuto, on the other hand, didn't. He says that a dismantler is useful, of course. It normally takes time, and Sakuto can dismantle the bodies in an instant, and he can carry as much as he needs with his dimension box. On top of that, there's no one else with the same job as him, and when you put it that way, there are only positives. However, that's also it. Toshihiko says that you can have anything dismantled for a fee, but now, with this item box, Sakuto's dimension box ability is effectively replaced. Toshihiko puts his hand on Sakuto and says that from now on, enemies will keep on getting stronger, and that someone like Sakuto, who is only good for guarding luggage, is simply in their way. Toshihiko then gets close to Sakuto and whispers in his ear that he has always hated him, all the way from the beginning. Toshihiko then leaves, and the others thank him for everything and apologize while leaving. Sakuto left behind crying. He says that they were friends, right? Even childhood friends, and that they invited him into the party in the first place, and now this. Sakuto tries to walk. However, he says that his legs feel heavy. Sakuto continues walking and saying that with a skill like his, even if he joins another party, then the same thing is bound to happen. He then trips on a stone before he starts to cry, saying that there's nothing else he can do anymore. Anyway, Sakuto then goes back to the World Explorer organization and the dungeon room entrance. As he enters, he hears a ton of people arguing. A girl says that it doesn't change anything and that their comrades were still killed. Sakuto just looks at her and wonders what kind of job she has, saying that in this era, everyone receives a job when they turn 10 by touching a monolith. Suddenly, as Sakuto then puts his hand on the teleportation thing, someone screams at him, asking if he didn't just come back from a mission, saying that he should rest and that if he goes back in, then he will die. Sakuto just thinks that if you receive a good job, then you win at life, but the others, they lose at life. Sakuto is then teleported to another dungeon where he starts running wild and screaming, thinking that despite having academic ability, strength, or skills, people are discarded simply because their job is considered bad. After that, a goblin appears behind Sakuto and hits him to the ground. More and more goblins appear and start beating up Sakuto. Meanwhile, he just thinks that for the losers to obtain the elixir is beyond the realm of dreams. It's completely unreasonable and unfair, and the uncertainty in whether even risking one's life would be enough. But even then, receiving a job is still better than nothing, and the ones who suffer the most are the ones who don't receive anything. We then get back to Sakuto, who is getting punch after punch hit towards him, and he starts to think that he's beginning to lose consciousness. In the last second, he says Kana's name, and we then get to Kana and her roommate, Maya. Both of them suffer from magic overload syndrome, and both of them are jobless. Kana says that she wonders if they are at it again. However, Maya says that if Kana sighs so much, then she will miss out on the happiness in life. Kana says that this illness is the furthest from happiness though, and Maya says that it's a mana discharge deficiency, and that there's over a 90% mortality rate by the age of 25, and that there's no cure other than the elixir, ending it by saying that truly the future for them is pitch black. But still, Maya tells Kana that she can't give up, and that Sakuto is doing his best for her after all. Kana tells her that she doesn't want him to throw away his life for her, but Maya tells her that he always seems happy whenever he comes to visit. Kana then just lightly punches her in her head. Maya then asks Kana to tell her how her and Sakuto first met. Kana says sure, but warns her that it's not much a story, but Maya says that it's fine. Kana then explains that her and Sakuto live next door to each other, and that they have been together ever since they were little. They went to school together too, but halfway through middle school, the symptoms of magical overload syndrome started to appear. However, even then Sakuto never abandoned her, and he has always come to visit her in the hospital the entire time. Even now when he's working hard for her sake, Maya gets happy and says that it's why she still has a chance, and tells her to be positive. However, we then get back to Sakuto, who is still getting completely beaten up by the goblins. But suddenly, something weird happens, as Sakuto looks at a goblin and the goblin gets totally dismantled. Sakuto then says that this world is truly so incredibly unreasonable and unfair, saying that if he were him from a little while ago, then making such a loud noise to attract monsters would have been a one-way ticket to becoming a meat pile, and he wonders just what happened. He then sees that he got a pop-up message saying that with the rank up of Dismantle to Dismantle X, direct dismantling of organisms has become possible. Sakuto then gets up and says that he will save Kana, and with this power he will obtain the elixir. He apologizes to the goblins, but tells them that they will be his test subjects for his new skill, and he then uses it right on a goblin, which completely turns to dust basically. Sakuto is amazed and says that just like that, in the blink of an eye, he disappeared, thinking that if he doesn't adjust the power, he'll end up running the materials through, and that he also needs to be more careful of surprise attacks. He looks towards the goblins and says that he has to target them one by one and adjust the dismantling intensity, thinking that there's surprisingly a lot to think about. However, he is determined to make it happen. Suddenly, a huge goblin then appears. However, Sakuto smiles and tells Kana to wait for him and says that this is his starting line. The text then says that the divine medicine that heals anything, also called the elixir, only has about 10 discovered worldwide each year, and in contrast, the demand extends beyond those with mana overload syndrome to patients with other illnesses, people who have lost parts of their bodies, and wealthy individuals seeking to maintain their health, amounting to hundreds of thousands of people. Due to its rarity and market value, its selling price could exceed $1 billion, and it's like grasping at clouds, but even so, Sakuto will do it. Sakuto is then finished with the last goblin, and he falls to the floor due to being tired. However, he puts his fist towards the sky as he says that he made it. Even though it's a lower tier dungeon, he still did it on his own, saying that this is where it all begins. After that, he leaves the dungeon and goes home, where his stepsister Erika, who is a prop master, jumps towards Sakuto and tells him that she was worried sick because he wasn't coming back, but she then welcomes him home. Sakuto then explains that he got kicked out, and Erika can't believe it, saying that they were so enthusiastic about inviting him. Sakuto says that looking back, he can kind of see how Toshiko was feeling. However, Erika doesn't agree, as she says that she doesn't get it, and asks if Sakuto is really okay with this, and that at this rate, Kana could be in danger. However, just then, Sakuto tells her about his dismantle power getting a level up, which is something that freaks Erika out again. She starts crawling at the table to him and says that it's expected. From Sakuto, she then takes his hand and says that once she graduates from school, they can form a party together. But before she can even finish her sentence, Sakuto already screams that he can't do that. He tells her that both of their parents died in a dungeon and that he doesn't want to go through that again. Erika then asks if that isn't selfish, as Sakuto is already working as one. However, he tells her that his job is suited for dungeons, while her job is like a money printer for companies. He then asks for her status card, but is surprised by something. Erika asks what's wrong, but he says that it's nothing, and that they are going to visit Kana tomorrow, and tells Erika to go to bed early. The next day then comes around, and Sakuto tells Kana that he really wanted to come yesterday, but that he couldn't. Kana says that it's okay, and that what's more important is that he is safe. They then start holding hands, and both Maya and Erika remind them that they are still here, and not to go making their own little world. Maya then asks Sakuto about his first high-level dungeon, and he then tells them everything about his level up and him getting kicked out of the team, which shocks both of them. Maya then says that it means that Erika and Sakuto should form a party together, which was what Erika also said yesterday. Maya then says that, after all, Erika has an amazing skill, which is the item drop quality and amount increase, saying that with Sakuto's power, they could beat high-level dungeons, and then Erika could increase the drop rate and number of elixirs that'll drop. Both of them then get right up to Sakuto's face and ask if that's fine. Sakuto doesn't know what to say, so Kana speaks for him as she says that she understands his feelings and that dungeons aren't as easy as some might think, and that Sakuto doesn't want to put his only family left in danger. Erika, however, then says that if the two of them team up, then maybe they can get an elixir for Maya. Maya tells them that she is fine and that she just happened to be in the same room and not to worry about her. However, Erika insists that they are not going to leave her out. Sakuto is still hesitant. However, Kana says that there's still a lot of time before Erika graduates and that he has time to think about it, and they then decide to do that. We then get to a few days later, where Sakuto enters a forest-type dungeon. He says that he's been doing cave types for a while, so this is perfect, as he needs to practice his dismantle in various terrains. He then runs into the forest, and he finds a lot of monster, which he can use his dismantle on. He then walks for a bit before he finds two adventurers sitting by a tree. Sakuto right away sees that the man has lost his arm. However, the man right away asks Sakuto if he can help her friend as she has gotten poisoned. Sakuto says that he is on it and sees that the poison has probably circulated already and that it's too late to use an antidote potion, and wonders just what he should do when suddenly he thinks that with his ability, if he can dismantle living beings like that, then in theory, he could adjust it to specifically break down the toxins in her body. But if he makes a single mistake, then he could end up killing her. However, even with the thought of that, he thinks that there is no time and goes for it. And he then uses his Dismantle X microbreaker. We then hear that the man saying that they had 3 more members, but that they sacrificed themselves to help them escape. And then suddenly the girl opens her eyes and the man runs towards her in an instant and he starts to cry and apologizes for everything. The man then thanks Sakuto and that if he hadn't come then everyone's sacrifice would have been in vain. However, Sakuto just says that he should have been here sooner. But the man disagrees before he introduces himself as Yudai and says that the girl's name is Kazue, and she then thanks Sakuto. They then question where his party members are, but Sakuto doesn't know what to answer, so the man asks if he is going solo, and Sakuto says that he is and that a lot has happened. He then tells them that he will escort them to the entrance. Yudai says that he doesn't have to go that far. However, Sakuto asks him if he can really protect Kazue with that arm of his, and saying that if something happened to them, then he would feel awful, and they then just leave the dungeon. Sakuto then goes home to Erika, where they are talking about dungeons again. But Sakuto says that he wants her to find and explore her own path with peace of mind, and she smiles while saying okay. We then get to the graduation day, where we see Erika and Sakuto, who is there to congratulate her. They look happy as they are celebrating, and Erika thanks him for coming. Sakuto then asks her if she wants to stop by anywhere, and Erika tells him that Sakuto himself told her to find her own path, telling Sakuto that he said that she couldn't join his party, but that he didn't say that she couldn't become an explorer, and she then declares that they are going to the explorer registration, which completely catches Sakuto off guard and shocks him to his core. They then get to the World Explorer Organization Tokyo Branch 3, where Sakuto asks her to explain herself and asks if she wasn't going to give up on that. Erika just tells him that she never said that, but she asks if Sakuto didn't hear her before and tells him that she doesn't want to burden everything onto him and that she wants to help too, saying that there are less than 8 years left until Kana turns 25, and Erika says that if she gets a job instead, then it will already be too late, explaining that magic overload syndrome, if the mortality rate by 25 is 90%, then in reality, it's probably worse. Erika then, with a fiery determination, tells him that this is her own resolve and that she is going to find the elixir on her own, even if Sakuto decides not to support her. Sakuto is mad, but asks if nothing he can say will make her give up on becoming an explorer, and she says that he is right. Sakuto, then with a hesitated tone, says that he will at least protect her while she is still within his reach. He puts his hand on her shoulder and tells her to form a party together. Erika looks surprised before she says that she has been proposed to. However, Sakuto says that he didn't, and asks her if she wants him to take it back. Sakuto then lets her know that depending on the situation, he might force her to quit if necessary, and she says fine before she takes his hand and rushes him towards the reception to register. They arrive and Erika has successfully registered as an explorer, and the girl working there says that she will now briefly explain to her the profession of an explorer, and Erika says, "All right," However, just then, Sakuto tells her that he is going to look up something and tells Erika that he will meet her later. She says okay, and that she will meet up with him once she is done. After that, the girl clears her throat and says that an explorer is an individual who explores different dungeons and brings back resources from those said dungeons. Nowadays, it's no exaggeration to say that many of the things they see come from dungeons. People with various abilities dive into dungeons day and night, not only to defeat monsters, but also to support their livelihoods. After that, Erika puts up her hand and says that she has a question, and she just asks how she can form a party with Sakuto. The girl smiles and says that Erika is super enthusiastic and that she will explain it step by step. She says that you can enter and exit dungeons through the large monolith in each WEO branch. However, just then, Erika once again interrupts her and asks her if she can form a party with Sakuto using the monolith. The girl, who is probably beginning to get annoyed, asks her to just listen to the explanation. She gets back into it and says that the large monoliths offer various functions beyond entering and exiting dungeons, such as checking your status and managing your party. After that, you guessed it, Erika asks if she can form a party from there, but then the girl kind of screams at her, asking her to please be quiet for a moment. She then moves on from that topic and tells Erika that there are a total of 7 ranks for both jobs and dungeons, ranging from the lowest level to divine level, telling Erika that you can challenge dungeons that are up to 1 rank above your job rank, and additionally, a party can have up to 5 members, but if there is a rank difference within the party, then you can challenge dungeons that are up to 2 ranks higher than the lowest ranked member. She gets right up to Erika's face and asks if she has understood everything up to this point, and Erika says that she sort of has. She then screams at her that not knowing something can be a matter of life and death, and tells her to listen carefully, and Erika agrees. The girl then says that they will now move on to the alliances and the collection and storage of resources. Erika just looks annoyed as she gets sleepy from complicated talks. After that, we get to Sakuto, who looks frozen in place as he thinks that maps for the lowest tier dungeons are so expensive, saying that he guesses that this is the state of things, even at the lowest rank. However, if it means that Erika can get used to dungeons safely, he doesn't mind. However, he still isn't convinced, but he then sees a pop-up of a special explorer campaign, but just when he starts to look at it, Erika jumps at him from behind, catching him off guard. Sakuto tells her not to hug him in public, but Erika just says that she is tired from listening to the complicated talks before she asks when they are going to go to a dungeon. Sakuto tells her that they aren't going today at least. Before asking Erika what happened to all the talk about determination, saying that this isn't a field trip, Erika says that she knows, but says that you still have to enjoy things, because if not, then they just become a waste, saying that both determination and fun are important. Sakuto says that she sure has a way with words, and says that she is right. Erika smiles, and Sakuto then tells her that 3 days from now they will head into their first dungeon, saying that they've got all the equipment and everything else ready, and Erika looks super excited as she hears that. After that, we fast forward to 3 days later in the lowest rank, the Kobold Dungeon. Erika asks if this really is a dungeon and says that it's just a plane. Sakuto tells her that there are many different terrains and environments. Sakuto then tells her to listen up, telling her that first she needs to get used to the dungeons, and says that it's the same as getting used to the atmosphere at your workplace after starting a new job. They then start walking, and Sakuto says that it's said that resources can be harvested infinitely in dungeons, which means that periodic regeneration and transformation occur, saying that in a plains-type dungeon like this one, the wide field of vision means that the few hiding spots become more dangerous. Telling Erika that monsters could be lurking there and here, Erika then runs forward, and Sakuto tells her to proceed with caution. But just then, she trips on a branch and falls down to the floor. Sakuto just says that he told her so, and she apologizes. They then spot the X mark at the base of the tree, and Sakuto says that it's a sign of a kobold trap, and that there's usually a marker nearby, saying that it's easy to miss on the grassy ground, and tells her to be careful. Erika then grabs Sakuto's hand to get up and thanks him before Sakuto tells her to look to her right, where there are a couple of hunters. Sakuto tells Erika not to stray away from him, and he then uses his Dismantle X ability on one of the wolf hunters, but they manage to dodge it. One of the wolves then shoots an arrow towards them, while the other one charges in. Sakuto takes care of the one charging against them, and just in time, manages to dodge the arrow thanks to Erika warning him. He then turns around and is about to use his Dismantle ability on the wolf, but just as he does so, the wolf manages to roar for help. Even though the wolf died, it called upon his friends, and Sakuto tells Erika that there's no use, and apologizes as it's his fault for misjudging their numbers, and we then see them completely cornered in between the wolves. Sakuto thinks that he got careless just because they are the lowest rank, saying that, after acting all high and mighty toward Erika, Sakuto thinks that his eyes still can't keep up with the speed of the kobolds or wolves, and that if they keep moving around like this, then it might be hard. However, he is still determined to get Erika away safely. He then tells Erika to run and that he will open up a path for her. However, Erika tells him that she isn't going to do that. Sakuto gets mad and screams, asking her what she is saying and that she should be running right now. Erika says that this happened because of her, so she can't be the one to run away, and besides that, she has already told Sakuto her resolve. She then picks up a kobold magic stone and some dirt. Erika tells Sakuto that she has been studying a lot to become an explorer too, telling Sakuto that he hasn't seen her skill up close, saying that she is scared because it's her first real battle and that she feels like her legs might give out. However, she will also fight. She then combines the magic stone with the dirt and is able to craft an earthen magic bow. She looks super fired up and determined as she tells Sakuto to leave the behind to her and to make sure to apologize properly later.